We are fighting a war. It is not a war against a foreign nation or a political ideology. It is a biological war, fought on a microscopic scale, against an enemy that is older than humanity itself. For nearly a century, we have held the upper hand thanks to a miracle of modern science. But the tide is turning. We are witnessing the dawn of a new and dangerous era, antibiotic resistance. This is the story of the rise of superbugs. Over the next hour, we will journey into the microscopic world to understand the mechanics of natural selection, the biology of bacteria, and the urgent public health crisis that threatens to undo decades of medical progress. The medicines that once saved us are beginning to fail. To understand the threat we face today, we must look back to a time when a simple scratch could be a death sentence. In the early 20th century, bacterial infections were the leading cause of death. But everything changed in 1928. A scientist named Alexander Fleming discovered penicillin, the world's first true antibiotic. This discovery revolutionized medicine. Antibiotics are defined as medicines that fight bacterial infections by either killing the bacteria outright or stopping their growth. Throughout the 20th century, these drugs saved millions of lives, turning deadly plagues into treatable inconveniences. We entered a golden age of health, believing we had conquered infectious disease forever. However, in our reliance on these drugs, we often misunderstand what they can and cannot do. We must distinguish between the two main microscopic villains, bacteria and viruses. Bacteria are single-celled living organisms. They are alive, they reproduce, and because they are alive, antibiotics can kill them. Examples of bacterial infections include strep throat and pneumonia. On the other hand, we have viruses. These are non-living strands of genetic code that require a host cell to survive. Crucially, antibiotics do not work on viruses. Diseases like the flu, the common cold, or COVID-19 cannot be cured by penicillin or amoxicillin. Understanding this distinction is the first step in stopping the resistance. So how does an antibiotic actually kill a bacterium? It attacks specific weaknesses in the bacterial armor. There are three main strategies. First, some antibiotics destroy the cell wall. They break the structural integrity of the bacteria, causing it to burst open. Without this protection, the bacteria cannot survive. Second, other drugs stop protein production. They block the bacteria from making the proteins needed for survival, effectively starving them of their essential building blocks. Finally, some antibiotics prevent DNA replication. They stop the bacteria from copying their genetic code. If they cannot copy their DNA, they cannot reproduce, and the infection cannot spread. It is a precise chemical assassination. But nature is resilient. Life finds a way. This brings us to the core of the crisis, antibiotic resistance. This phenomenon occurs when bacteria evolve to defeat the drugs designed to kill them. When this happens, our medicines become useless. The bacteria that survive these chemical attacks are no longer ordinary germs. They are what we call superbugs. These organisms have adapted to our strongest weapons, and they pose serious health threats to populations worldwide. It is an arms race between our chemists and their biology, and right now, the bacteria are winning. This is not magic. It is evolution in action. It is natural selection playing out in real time. In any massive group of bacteria, billions of them, most are normal, but nature is messy. Random genetic mutations occur constantly. In a stroke of genetic luck, a few bacteria might develop a mutation that acts like a protective shield against antibiotic drugs. Before the drug is introduced, this mutation might not matter. But once the environment changes, that mutation becomes the key to survival. This is the first stage of resistance, the accidental creation of a shield. Let's look at the selection process during an infection. Imagine you become sick with millions of bacteria in your body. You go to the doctor and you take an antibiotic medicine to fight the infection. The drug sweeps through your system. It kills the weak, non-resistant bacteria first. You might start to feel better. But the strong, mutated bacteria, the ones with that accidental shield, survive. Now, with no competition for food or space, these resistant bacteria reproduce rapidly. They take over the population. You are now infected with a superbug. How exactly do these bacteria fight back? They have evolved 3 sophisticated defense mechanisms. First, they can build stronger walls. They change their cell wall structure so antibiotics cannot penetrate, making the medicine bounce off like armor protecting a castle. Second, some develop pumps to expel the medicine. As soon as the antibiotic enters, special pumps push it right back out of the cell before it can do any work. Third, they can destroy the drug. These bacteria produce enzymes that break down and digest the antibiotic molecules. The weapon is destroyed before it can cause any harm. If that wasn't frightening enough, bacteria are excellent communicators. They engage in something called horizontal gene transfer. Think of it as sharing secrets. Bacteria can pass loops of DNA, called plasmids, directly to neighboring bacteria. It is like sharing a recipe. A resistant bacterium that has figured out how to survive can give its shield code to non-resistant ones. This allows immunity to spread very quickly through a population, even between different species of bacteria. They are crowdsourcing their survival. If that wasn't frightening enough, bacteria are excellent communicators. They engage in something called horizontal gene transfer. Think of it as sharing secrets. Bacteria can pass loops of DNA, called plasmids, directly to neighboring bacteria. It is like sharing a recipe. A resistant bacterium that has figured out how to survive can give its shield code to non-resistant ones. This allows immunity to spread very quickly through a population, even between different species of bacteria. They are crowdsourcing their survival. We have accelerated this natural process through our own actions. Cause number 1 is the overprescription of antibiotics. Studies show that approximately 30% of antibiotic prescriptions are unnecessary. Too often, doctors prescribe antibiotics for viral infections like colds and flu, where they have absolutely no effect. Every time we use these drugs when we don't need them, we expose our body's bacteria to the drug. This exposure trains bacteria to survive, creating resistance unnecessarily. We are essentially vaccinating the bacteria against our own cures. The second human error is not finishing medication. It is a common scenario. Patients feel better after just 3 days of treatment, so they stop taking the pills early. This is a critical mistake. At day 3, the drug has killed the weak bacteria, but the strong ones are merely weakened, not dead. By stopping, you allow these strong survivors to recover, multiply, and become fully immune. To prevent this, you must always finish the course. You must complete the full prescription even when feeling better. This ensures all bacteria are eliminated, not just the weak ones. But the problem isn't just in the doctor's office. It is in our food. Cause number 3 is agricultural overuse. In the United States, a staggering 70 to 80% of all antibiotics sold are not for humans, but for farm animals. Shockingly, this is often done for growth promotion, not to treat illness. We then consume these resistant bacteria through meat and milk. Furthermore, agricultural runoff contaminates our water and soil with these drugs and superbugs, spreading resistance into the environment. If we do not change course, we face a terrifying threat, a post-antibiotic era. To understand what that means, remember the world before 1928. In those days, a simple cut, scratch, or minor infection could be fatal. No antibiotics existed to fight bacterial diseases. If we lose these drugs, that world returns. In this possible future, Common surgeries like C-sections and hip replacements would become too dangerous to perform due to infection risk. Routine illnesses like pneumonia and strep throat could become deadly killers once again. This isn't science fiction. It is happening now. The most famous superbug is MRSA. This stands for methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus. It is a type of staph bacteria that has evolved to be resistant to many common antibiotics. While it was once confined to hospitals, it is now found in gyms and nursing homes. It causes painful skin infections that resist treatment and can escalate into life-threatening sepsis. MRSA is the harbinger of what is to come if we lose our chemical arsenal. The scale of this crisis is massive. The global cost of resistance is measured in both lives and dollars. According to the CDC, 2.8 million people get antibiotic-resistant infections in the US each year. Beyond the human suffering, the economic toll is staggering. Treating resistant infections costs billions of dollars annually. It requires stronger, more expensive drugs and forces patients to endure much longer hospital stays. The burden on our healthcare systems is becoming unsustainable. You might ask, why don't we just make new drugs? It is not that simple. Developing a new antibiotic takes 10 to 15 years of research and testing. It costs approximately £1 billion to bring a single drug to market, with no guarantee of success. Economically, it is less profitable for pharmaceutical companies. They prefer developing drugs for chronic conditions taken daily for years, rather than an antibiotic taken for 10 days. Because of this, very few new antibiotic classes have been discovered since the 1980s. The pipeline is running dry. However, science is innovative. We are looking for alternative solutions, such as phage therapy. This involves using viruses as weapons. Bacteriophages are specialized viruses that specifically attack and kill bacteria. Unlike antibiotics, which can be like a nuclear bomb, killing good and bad bacteria alike, phages are snipers. They only target specific bacteria and leave human cells completely unharmed. This old Soviet-era technology is being revived as a cutting-edge solution to the Superbug crisis. This is a global problem, but the solution starts with you. What can you do? First, take antibiotics properly. Only take them when a doctor prescribes them for confirmed bacterial infections, and never demand them for viral illnesses like colds or flu. Second, practice prevention. Simple acts like washing your hands regularly with soap can stop infections before they start. Also, prepare food safely to avoid foodborne bacterial contamination. Every infection prevented is one less antibiotic needed. Ultimately, we need a holistic strategy. We call this the One Health approach. It recognizes that human health, animal health, and environmental health are linked. For humans, it means responsible antibiotic use in hospitals and homes, and education about proper medication practices. For animal health, it requires regulating antibiotic use on farms and limiting growth-promoting antibiotics in livestock. And for environmental health, we must protect water and soil from antibiotic contamination and monitor resistance in wildlife. In summary, we are watching evolution in real time. Antibiotic resistance is natural selection happening right before our eyes. Bacteria are evolving to survive, creating dangerous superbugs that are extremely difficult to kill. We must protect our medicines. Resistance is driven by the misuse of antibiotics in both humans and farm animals. The era of easy medicine is ending, but if we act now, we can secure the future. We must work together to preserve the effectiveness of the medicines we have left.